My name is Philip Seymour Hoffman. Are we recording?
Beautiful.
Episode,
We sure are.
21?
I think it's 21.
That's
Something
right.
around there.
I feel like it's 21.
I'm going to take y'all's word for it.
If it's not right, we'll add in post.
We're back.
Two new
Tom
movies.
Cruise double feature event.
Two new movies.
Two brand new
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise
You
experiences.
boys colluded this week, huh?
Yeah.
Tom
You-
Cruise,
I think-
1999.
I think you kind of just chose it, Keegan. I think it just happens to be a movie I haven't seen. Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, I know we
Really?
haven't gotten to
I-
describing the films yet, but
So yeah, this
Mhm.
week we're talking about Eyes Wide Shut and
Magnolia.
Magnolia.
yeah.
I didn't realize they were both
Heavy hitters.
1999.
I actually didn't know they were the same year either. I meant to.
You had kind of been talking. You had asked me because you're.
I
assume
I
you're
like-
PTA.
I like Paul Thomas Anderson, yeah. So
PTA
I'd seen Magnolia already.
Mhm.
Over a long period of time, like a handful of times, like
Okay.
5 times total, maybe
and,
over like 8 years.
and I guess it sort of came
Wow.
up that
Yeah,
I knew like both of you hadn't seen Eyes.
Eyes
Wide
Wide
Shut.
Shut. Yeah,
No.
So I was like,
Stanley Kubrick's last film.
Kubrick. Yeah,
let's do it.
The
yeah.
Illuminati
Let's
Killer.
talk about them. Which one? Which one you want to start out with?
It's up to you guys.
Mm.
Get you.
I honestly don't really care. I think it.
Let's start with Eyes Wide Shut then. I don't really care either way
Okay,
either, so I'm
let's
just
start
going
with
to throw
Eyes
that
Wide
out.
Shut. No, let's actually.
Oh,
let's
whatever,
start
dude.
Magnolia. Let's
Okay,
start
okay.
Magnolia. I'm sorry. Okay.
Tom Cruise, 99.
Tom
Like-
Cruise,
Yeah,
99.
Stanley Kubrick, his last movie, died
Mhm.
pre-release, I guess, right? I read
We're
something
doing
along those.
Yeah, but we're doing Magnolia.
We're doing
first.
Magnolia,
Sorry,
right?
sorry. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Fuck.
It's okay. It's
We'll,
okay.
just-
It's
we'll
okay.
talk about that later.
Tom
But
Cruise,
still,
Julianne Moore.
There is a weird kind of interesting thing I saw. Like I was watching the Charlie Rose with Paul, and I guess Tom Cruise was actually doing Eyes Wide Shut first.
Okay. I
And
was
he,
curious
like-
which one.
He like saw him on the set or something, and yeah, I guess like once that finished, they started that, and I guess like it was notoriously a long time shooting Eyes, but
Yeah,
starting with Magnolia.
I think Eyes is like the longest photo shoot. Wait, we're still talking about Magnolia anyway.
Yeah, we're kind of like
Fuck
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
both.
yeah.
but-
Let's cover Magnolia. And we'll
Yeah.
talk about the.
Um,
So yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson. Have you seen any of his movies?
I've seen Boogie Nights. I've
Okay,
seen,
okay. It's
There
a
Will Be Blood.
pretty
I've seen
fun
There
one.
Will Be
Okay,
Blood.
okay. Yeah, I mean those are
Have you
kind of
Heart
greatest
Eight?
hits.
Heart Eight. I've seen Heart
I've
Eight.
seen Heart 8.
I haven't
Okay,
seen
okay, well,
Punch
that's-
Drunk or Phantom Thread
I haven't seen
Okay,
either of those.
so actually I haven't seen Phantom Thread or Licorice Pizza, which
Or
are their
Licorice
two
Pizza.
most recent
Is
films.
Punch Drunk the Adam Sandler movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may have
Kind of
seen
an offbeat,
Yeah.
dark comedy, romance.
one of his best ones. I think I've seen that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
Anyway,
Magnolia.
well,
Huh? Why'd
well-
you pick Magnolia? Let's hear it. God damn it!
Why did you pick Magnolia?
Did I
Mike?
pick it?
Someone
Oh,
picked it,
I
I
guess-
feel like it was you, dude. You were
Well,
just
you were
floating.
kind of saying that I should see it, so I guess
Okay. I feel like
picked
I
it.
had told you should watch it just as a person, and then
Yeah,
you chose
so-
to do it as this.
Okay.
But in kind of a way, I sort of did.
Yeah, so I didn't know anything.
So you
about
picked it because I wanted you to
Because
watch it. And so
Michael
I guess the
recommended it.
reason I wanted him to watch it was, well, I know you at least sort of like Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, so you'd be down to like see
I
one of his
love
films you
Boogie
haven't
Nights,
seen.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one of them. And
This is one
it's
of
a lot of movie, but I think there are a lot of things too that are really good in it or that are worth seeing or checking out. Either being like individual performances, specifically Tom Cruise's, really
Yeah.
stands out to me as
the fucking Andrew Tate of the 90s.
Yeah. I
yeah,
was thinking
essentially,
that.
yeah, but even more
Yeah.
straightforward, really,
Yeah,
like
uh-huh.
I
you know,
did get some-
celebrating suck my big fat fucking August is suck my big
Yeah,
fat
I-
fucking sausage or something.
I actually got that.
Okay,
clip,
I'll save that for
yeah,
Tom then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would say
just,
both movies had some banger clips.
yeah, it's definitely great lines.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just love. I wouldn't say like how I really feel about it or give it a score or anything, but I do enjoy Magnolia, and it's everything Paul Thomas Anderson kind of has to offer, like all at once in one movie, at least up to that point in his career,
Yeah.
for better or worse.
It's his second movie right after Boogie Nights. right?
Third movie,
Third
so
movie.
Heart Eight was his very
Heart Eight
first.
was first.
Boogie Nights,
okay.
and then kind of off the goodwill of Boogie
I
Nights,
didn't realize that.
they gave
okay.
him the room to work with
Okay.
Magnolia, which is a lot more to like ask of
Yeah.
a
Big Daddy
production
budget.
company.
Yeah. Kurt.
Got some heavy hitters in here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
You
great
know?
cast, like Julianne Moore, Tom Cruise, Phil
really
Baker
loved,
Hall, who I really only know because of Paul Thomas Anderson
Yeah.
movies. John C. Riley with
I
his like
love
early
John C.
career, like
Reilly.
dramatic
It's-
roles.
It's
Love
kind
him.
of Luis Guzman. Even,
Yeah, I
like,
love him.
It's a
and
lot of
Yeah.
like
Alfred Molina actually.
for
is
me,
a
like,
small-
Will H.
because
Mason.
I
yeah,
love.
it's crazy.
I mean, I guess before I get too deep, but like
Alfred Molina,
Yeah,
Amy, man.
Small role.
I do like Boogie Nights a lot more than this movie.
Right.
I can start by saying that.
Right.
There were some things in this movie that like as I was watching it, I was just like, this is fucking BS. Like,
Yeah, there are what
like-
moments, things
Yeah,
that. Well,
like,
say
just
them
things
like
that-
what specifically?
specifically the song.
Yeah,
that enraged me.
when I was watching
I
it.
was not into that
And
at
when
all.
they started singing, I kind of thought to myself, I feel like Keegan's not going to like that they're singing. I feel like he's not going to like what they're singing on top of that, kind of
I mean,
also.
I understand that he's inspired by her music. Too.
Yeah,
like
he,
I
like-
watched the Charlie Rose.
Yeah,
he was kind
yeah,
of
okay,
talking
he
about
talks
how
about
he's
that
inspired
there.
by her
She's
music
all
and
over it.
everything. But
All over.
I was
Amy
just
Man,
like,
yeah.
I was just like, this is like not good at all. I do
Yeah.
not like this.
For me, that's much more challenging than the
Or-
frogs or something.
Even that, I was not
Yeah.
into that. I was just like, and kind of something he said in the Charlie Rose, because like he kind of like hinted towards it, like a biblical type thing that happens, and he was
Yeah.
like, I felt like I just sort of wrote, like, you know, writing the screenplay until I got to a place, and I was like, that's what we're gonna do, you know, kind of. And I'm paraphrasing, but
I mean,
I
it
was just
kind of
like,
does what happens in the movie, though.
I'm just like, yeah, like, and I felt like with this type of movie, I mean, like, this kind of made me think of like a Crash,
Little
Pulp
bit.
Fiction, you know, like
ensemble,
these kind of ensemble where they're
intertwining
doing and-
stories.
Intertwined
exactly.
A little bit, yeah.
and
Yeah.
and he was saying like this movie was called Altman-esque because of Nashville, which is an Altman I haven't seen,
Yeah.
and he was talking about how he does, you know, respect
He's
Altman.
super.
and
Yeah, he brings
he's
him up
into
a lot.
him.
Yeah.
But for me, like, it's always very difficult to do that type of. It even reminded me of Happiness. You remember we watched Happiness kind of
Yeah.
recently?
When we got
Just-
Hoffman in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like all these intertwined stories, but they're all dark and depressing. But
Mhm.
it's like not every story is as interesting as the next one.
Yeah.
And then
I would
also,
agree with that.
I feel like sometimes like, because like it's you're kind of halfway in before you realize like, okay, they're gonna tie them all together. But sometimes like the tie, it's like, it's almost like, you just kind of
Small.
you just like made it.
What's the
You just
point
connected
of it,
them,
really?
yeah. Like you just
yeah,
connected
yeah.
them because like
Like she's his, John C.
Yeah,
Reilly's
like-
not necessarily tied into anybody, but he's dating a girl who is the daughter of Phil Baker Hall,
Yeah.
and then
Hall.
and then Partridge is the producer
Yeah.
of the Phil Baker Hall show,
like I don't.
and then his
The two
his son is
contestants.
directly So I mean,
And then like I feel like I'm just kind of like listing all the stuff that I
Oh,
kind of had.
yeah.
no,
But
do
that
it.
part at the beginning with like Patton Oswalt, right?
Yeah,
Like I was kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
like I started watching that and the tone of that was like kind of compelling, like the way it was all fast. I even like rewound it because I did watch it on tape. It's on 2 tapes.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Like, we were
it
gonna-
has to be.
Yeah,
It
but
has to be. Yeah,
But-
it's long as hell.
like I rewound that part because I was like, oh, this is probably important, you know. But
Yeah.
then like that kind of didn't even matter, you know. It was kind of just like, you know what I mean? I was just like,
Yeah, I don't really know the point of that. I mean, it's definitely just some sort of statement about
these
like,
things really happen.
Yeah, like coincidental things that do really happen,
like,
kind of
bro.
maybe can happen. And there's like statements throughout the movie about the things that happen in movies really do happen all the time.
yeah,
Maybe that's a statement on like the connection of all these people and just the coincidence of it all, and then with the big frog finale. I've grown to enjoy the frogs a lot. I don't vibe with the sing along still personally. It does kind of take me out of it a little bit. That kind of slowly is just panning from character to character as they like take a metaphorical break from the film to seeing
Oh
this
my
movie
gosh,
that just isn't.
No.
I feel like there maybe is a way to do that, but yeah, it doesn't. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's I actually like the frogs. And the more I've seen the movie, the more like the frogs even as an effect, I enjoy. I can kind
Sure.
of get behind the weirdness of that.
I feel
Just
like-
not so much the singing though.
I
I'm
like
on
the
board.
frogs just because, like, It's like, oh yeah, something else, like
Yeah.
something else.
Well, at this point, so for me, well, I will say this is not even close to my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I like Boogie Nights more, just for being more
There Will Be
traditional,
Blood
cool story with a lot of the stuff that makes Magnolia great, just in a more palatable like manner for everybody. I
Like
their-
in a like
it's telling a
they're all
story.
connected by porn
It's
at least. Like, you know
they're
what I
even
mean?
just
Like,
directly connected.
like,
They're all in the same
even-
parties together,
and
stuff.
like everybody's equally interesting because
Yeah.
they all are part of this life that like you don't normally see on screen. Like in this, it's just like they're normal people, and it's all
Yeah.
They're all
like-
like connected thematically with like trauma or
kind of
something.
vaguely, yeah. They're
And,
all
like,
kind of doing their own thing.
in the Charlie Rose. Some like he was like, oh, one critic said this is about American angst, and I'm like, you know, I kind of get that, but like. It's kind of boring.
Maybe like how they're
you know, like,
maybe how they're like
not
trying
that
to
it's
what they're trying
boring,
to
but
do
like,
with, like
not everything is as interesting as every other.
I would agree.
You know, like the Tom Cruise, like when he's like talking, like that's a lot more interesting than like I'm trying to think of like.
I would
what's
say
maybe my
John
least
C.
favorite.
Riley's like storyline with
the-
that girl
with the
at
crack
times
addicted.
is her like performance is. I don't know if it's bad, but it's different. It's kind of strange,
Yeah.
and there are points in that story where
I did like
it slows
them.
down a
I
little
like them
bit.
too, though. Like
Yeah.
that was probably one of my favorites. Like the
Quality.
kid, like the William H Macy. I really loved.
I
He
love
was-
just like for me, I've seen this because I just like his films. So I've kind of just if I'm bored, I want to see a movie maybe once a year. It's like man, I'll rewatch Boogie Nights, or rewatch There Will Be Blood, or rewatch
Dang.
Magnolia, and I've just kind of learned to enjoy every single aspect of it as like nonstop filmmaking, for better or for worse. Like every single thing is just
Yeah.
like whenever William H Macy crashes into that store for just no reason, just because he's fucking kind of off and dumb
Yeah.
at this point in his life. He's been struck by lightning,
Yeah.
evidently. There's like a zoom in on him, and the guy runs up to him. And he goes, "It's the quiz kid, Donnie Smith."
Yeah.
Just these little moments are kind of
Yeah.
goofy. Or when you meet Earl Partridge, there's like a cancer graphic for a second.
Yeah.
That shows you
all
he
the
has
weather
cancer.
reports.
Yeah, that is probably one of my least favorite like abstract things that happens. Is like, oh, to 88% humidity. Da, 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 da.
Oh,
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Those were a little bit. Something was cheesy about it. I don't know what.
Let me before we get too deep, let me get to the clips.
Yeah, let's hear some audio.
See what I got.
We like to celebrate Saints. Suck my big fat fucking sausage.
He doesn't do. He's never gonna do a role like this or the next film we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about again. Well, he did Tropic Thunder since then. That was kind of.
No, I didn't even
maybe
see
he has
that.
one. You haven't seen Tropic Thunder?
No,
That'd actually be a good.
Wow.
We should, we'll save it for the show. Actually,
perhaps. Okay.
go fucking.
Let's see what else we got.
Respect the cock. And tame the cunt.
You know, this is actually a killer shot too. He like steps forward into darkness and then out of the darkness into like a spotlight with this kind of little maneuver he does to deliver that line.
Yeah. Let me see what else we got from Tom.
Big titted Mary Jane.
I like this one because
Frank
when you,
T.J. Mackey.
when you gate it, let me see.
big titted Mary
Yeah.
Getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's turn it down. Okay, that's a long clip, but yeah.
Okay.
Big titted Mary Jane. Big titted Mary. Big titted.
But yeah.
Sample of the century.
Getting corrective oral surgery tomorrow for my teeth.
I love that one too.
I'm getting corrective oral surgery tomorrow for my teeth.
And I love the whole braces.
Yeah,
subplot.
Does him want to impress this guy
Fucking
who has
bartender.
braces?
Yeah.
Fucking bar.
He's
And
not gonna
that
like
weird
someone
guy
else.
who's
That
just
little
like
weird
his kind
creep,
of boyfriend.
Yeah.
I-
He's like a twink, but he's old now
Oh, I
or
was
something. I
gonna
don't know
say-
what kind of guy that is.
a
Actually,
lot of the
little smoker jacket.
characters kind of they just like reminded me of themselves in Boogie Nights too.
A little.
You know what
bit,
I mean?
yeah,
Like
for
William
sure.
H. Macy was that same guy, kind of. Julianne Moore was kind of like Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like they kind of just like, I don't know. Like,
I was with
it just
you.
made
and
me
I
want
feel
to
like
watch
more I
Boogie
thought
Nights
about
a
the
little
more.
more.
Yeah. I feel like John C. Riley definitely like
Yeah,
that might
he was
be something
completely
about his
different,
like
but yeah.
acting maybe where he's sort of. And I thought he kind of was the one that was most similar because I feel like the way he delivers some of his stuff and like
Well,
leans
I
into
mean,
comedy is.
I kind of maybe didn't say him just because like he's a cop and like that's kind of a whole different dynamic. but yeah.
Fair enough.
I thought he was like a goody two shoes kind of.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, he's like praying at his bed every night or something. He's got a
Yeah, he's
little-
like kind of constantly
He's-
monologuing
yeah,
to
he's
God
also getting
and
on to
stuff.
people about cursing nonstop.
Yeah, that kid. You know
Yeah.
what that in that
That
scene, you know what that
rap.
made me think? I was like, Paul Thomas Anderson wrote this rap
For this black kid. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird to think about.
I just told you who it was. You didn't even listen.
The worm.
And then I was gonna sample. I gotta get paid. And then he robs her.
Yeah, at the end of the film, he finds her. And he's like just rolling around the city because then it cuts to him in another car counting his money. What was he even doing there? What's that little guy up to?
But yeah, I mean
it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And it's also it's long.
It's ambitious.
Bit of a long
It's
watch.
certainly ambitious. I think he would have been better off doing exactly what he wanted to do, like 3 movies later. You know, I mean, I'm glad he did this, but yeah, I mean, because this was kind of like him wanting to get do whatever he wanted without any
and you get to see
too much influence, you know. And he got the goodwill coming off of Boogie Nights and everybody he worked with, you know.
If you had to, if I feel like we're getting there, if you had to give it a score,
okay, I'll give it a score. I'll do it. I'll give it you know what? I like Magnolia a lot. I'm gonna give. For me, this is kind of like it's kind of more of a joke, and there's not really much to it. But I kind of say this is my Mulholland Drive. You know, kind of in the sense that it's sort of it's not very similar, but yeah, I mean, it's even kind of in a way. So is Eyes Wide Shut. You know, people talk about it as like indecipherable, or they act like they are, or something. Yeah, or just like something that's supposed to be challenging to view in some way, and whether they are or not really, or why is like up for debate. But I kind of enjoy this more. Plus, it's like a weird view of like another part of California with like kind of a strange cast, and yeah, kind of dreamlike. Less so than Mulholland Drive for sure, but there are moments where abstract things like blast into the real world, and then you feel like you're seeing something normal in between. But I like the constant just PTA just moving the camera in ways that like you know, he's never being chill, he's never just hanging out and like filming a scene. It's nonstop.
I meant to send. I should have sent it. It's like this weird video. He was dating Fiona Apple around the time, and it's like a weird video of him like kind of like insulting her as if she's the movie. I was like, it took me a while to kind of figure out what it is. I'm gonna send it to you guys, but like he's kind of like saying stuff like you're not as good as Boogie Nights, and like insulting the movie almost kind of like as critics.
Yeah.
But it's like she's
maybe that was some sort of artsy
personifying
thing
the movie.
They thought would be interesting together.
I was
as a
just
couple.
like, what is this? Like, yeah.
Smart stuff.
I will.
Go ahead.
No. Well, I just want to say an interesting piece of trivia I was just reading about, just because we're dealing with Tom Cruise so much today, is I guess Paul Thomas Anderson. Have you seen The Master?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I did see that one.
So that's obviously slightly inspired, or like heavily inspired by L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology. So I guess Paul Thomas Anderson had Tom Cruise come over, and he was like, hey, man, I got a new movie. It's not out yet. I want to screen it for you in my little theater, and let's watch it together and talk about it.
Okay.
And it's unknown the exact details of what happened afterwards, but a lot of people think they don't get along as well as they used to.
I would imagine.
People aren't sure like if there was like really a problem or if it was just some small thing and they kind of worked it out and they just like played it close to the chest. But it's just kind of interesting that he had him over and he showed it to him. And you know, Scientologists aren't cool with people who like denounce Scientology at all. Like they label you like some term and they're not supposed to.
An oppressive
person or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Louis Theroux.
Yeah. It's still kind of like it's still only vaguely Scientology, but I just thought it was interesting to know. He was like, "Hey man, I want to show you the movie I'm making now. It's sort of inspired by a thing you got going on nowadays.
I think you gave your whole life to."
Yeah, and you're
but even the way he was kind of like talking in this, some of the points I was kind of like. Because I'm assuming he was a Scientologist at that point too.
Tom, yeah.
You know,
I think so. Yeah, he had
like the Katie Holmes.
Because I think he was trying to get even Nicole Kidman, maybe.
Yeah, and I've heard that he and Katie Holmes split because of that or something.
Yeah.
But
yes, anyway.
So I felt like he was kind of using that kind of persona in this a little bit of like, not that he's a Scientologist, but he's tapped into this thing. You know, he's like
something he understands though that people don't.
He's kind of using his celebrity and just like the fact that he's like a very I'm kind of getting ahead of myself again, but yeah, it's kind of weird that such a similar role to Magnolia, like where it's like he's kind of like the sex guru, and then we'll get into that in a little bit, but Did you actually give it a score?
Yeah, I gave it 89, right? Is that what I
80.
said? Did I say that?
I don't think so.
didn't say that
That's-
yet.
Yeah,
I hadn't
but
said that? That's
yeah.
what I wanted to say.
That's an
89.
I'll give it an 89, yeah. I
Cool.
do enjoy it, yeah.
I'm getting corrective oral surgery tomorrow for my teeth.
I love that he kind of says Earl. He doesn't say oral.
That's actually something that bugged me when they're doing the singing part. The lyric is like, it's not going to stop, and they all go, it's not going to stop. It's like, going. Like fucking Vietnamese prefecture or something.
William H. Macy, man.
But
He's a lot of the acting in it is good, and he's
I
good
guess-
the whole time.
I guess I'll go ahead.
Nah,
and go.
no.
You go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead and
Nah,
go.
'cause you have more to
Had
say.
to load it up.
I mean, it's not my favorite Paul.
It's all right.
Thomas Anderson film.
It's
don't think
okay.
It's not my
think
favorite.
it is for a lot of people.
It's okay.
I heard what you said earlier, and I liked that. Perhaps he should have waited like a couple more movies to like blow his load.
I think
A little
I
bit.
think it helps to be confined a little bit by like either like
Something.
production companies or finances or something occasionally.
Somebody to like keep you within. I don't know, but I didn't hate this film at all. It is a bit long for my taste, but something about the editing kept the pace. You know, so
Yeah, it just fly back and forth enough to kind of keep you moving.
Yeah.
it keeps you moving. Yeah, but you still feel that 3 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
It
thought.
was 3 hours. I couldn't even.
Yeah, so it's three. My joke about this movie is it's 3 hours 4 minutes, but it only felt like 2 hours 40. You know, just still long as fuck.
Yeah, like I said, I actually watched it on the tape, so I
That's
don't even
crazy.
know.
Where'd you get
and
that?
It cut kind of like right when he's starting to get sick, where Philip Baker Hall is kind of starting to get sick.
Uh-huh.
But I just have a bunch of movies on
Okay,
tape and
fair
like
enough. Yeah.
from like when they were cheap.
Yeah, of
You
course.
had the double,
Yeah.
the double.
Get a whole pack
tape.
from Half
I was like,
Books or
look,
something?
it's on 2 tapes
Yeah.
like Titanic.
Like Green Mile.
Yeah. Oh, Green Mile.
There's
Yeah,
a couple of
those
those
are double, yeah.
epics,
Well,
those
Schindler's-
90s
Deer
epics.
Deer Hunter.
Those, I didn't know that one was
Yeah, it
those
was, yeah.
90s epics. Okay.
Schindler's List.
But did you actually put a number to it?
No,
I'm sorry, we
no.
kind of cutting off
Fuck
the numbers.
You're gonna hate me, Mike.
No, I'm not gonna hate you at all, bro.
Give it a solid 68.
I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. No. That's a beautiful score. I think that's honestly is like. I get it. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
Because the performances were great. They were incredible, of course. I had a little trouble following what ties all these people together. Like what's the theme? But I think I came
think
to
there
like
might
some
just-
regret kind of theme.
There might even just not be one, man.
I think-
don't know.
He kind of shows like if you like when you're making up everything, it's like if you had like it was almost kind of like a bunch of short films, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like maybe it would have been better if they weren't all connected, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you. We all have listened to some O&A and like the movies,
Uh-huh.
Win Patrice and stuff. When they were talking about Crash, and I haven't seen Crash in a while. This kind of made me want to rewatch it. But he was kind of saying it kind of annoyed him the fact that everyone had to be connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of made it
I
a
heard
little
that clip, but I do
a
kind of
little
get what you're
more unrealistic. You know, like,
I see what you're
and
saying.
I almost feel like something like this. It's like, yeah, just let it be a bunch of different short
It's
films.
almost like
or,
it could have gone either way. It either should have been more connected or less connected. And instead, it was like, just kind of not very tangible. Like, I
frogs
guess,
connected.
especially with like Earl Partridge, he's only connected to the other stories via his company, which you see just for a second is the production company that made like,
and then the trophy wife.
yeah.
But did you give it a number? Oh, you said 68.
I said a solid 68.
Yeah, I feel like
alright.
I've already laid out
Okay.
You should
everything.
definitely watch it. It's probably it's a great film.
Yeah.
But it's not something I would run to watch. Like
It's no boogie
But
nights.
honestly,
Baby,
no,
throw
but
that Magnolia on,
it's honestly though, Magnolia is almost a movie where it's not a definite watch. Though I'd be hesitant who I told to fucking watch it. I'd be much more inclined to be like, yeah, you like Pulp Fiction and shit. Yeah, Boogie Nights is great,
Yeah.
American badass movie. There's gonna
Or
be some
even-
crazy stuff and fun. It's a little bit intense. It's rated R, but it's good.
He
Whereas
reminded me
Magnolia
of,
is like,
or
a
even There Will Be
Happiness.
Blood. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just classic. Whereas Magnolia is like, oh yeah, just I kind of want to just be like, hey, just heads up, they do stop and they're gonna stop and sing at least.
yeah.
And, there's a couple things are gonna happen. Just be prepared. Might be weird, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Let's hear it, boy. What say ye?
I'm gonna go 73.
I'll fucking kill you.
I'm gonna go 73.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, that's a
Um,
good one.
Yeah, there's There's Paul Thomas Anderson movies that I would watch before it.
I gotta change my score because of that. It needs to be
Oh, no, you
no, it
don't.
does. No, I am. It's an 85 because I feel like there's 2 more movies that need to be like between 85 and 90,
Yeah.
and like another one that needs to be in the 90, and they're a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
it's
gotta
like-
give myself room to work. I
He's-
fucked up.
He's made some bangers.
Yeah, he's made some
You know, like-
hardcore bangers.
There's an argument that Boogie Nights is like the best movie of the 90s.
Well, then there's this argument about There Will Be Blood, where it's like, oh, is that one of the great American movies of all
Yeah.
time of like
mean, yeah.
all of our cinema?
Clint
But-
Eastwood,
Yeah,
Lobster
it's just,
Strip.
But-
yeah, exactly. Citizen Kane of a new generation.
73.
If it's all right with you guys, we're going to take a small break.
All right, let's do
Pause real quick.
it.
We're back.
We're back. One movie.
One movie left. One down.
One film,
One to go.
one Tom Cruise.
Let me see.
Shit. Is that Kanye West's Runaway?
1999. Eyes Wide Shut.
It just kind of did sound like that for a second.
Stanley Cooper's last film.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
croaked right after he like handed in final cut or whatever you call it. He like,
Yeah.
handed in the
Hey.
final.
Yeah, it's a movie kind of about conspiracies and
A little bit.
You know what?
somehow conspiracies surround it.
You know what's kind of like funny about this movie is I hadn't seen it until this
Yeah.
until
Me too.
to be honest today, and a lot of people talk about it like it's a lot of it's like really weird or something kind of shocking about it. I think now we're so accustomed to like being like, yeah, there's a fucking masked ceremony happening everywhere. There's cults and conspiracies all around us and Illuminati. Like it's not a.
But probably
It's
in
not
99.
as
Like, I'm
tame.
ready.
It's
I'm
not
ready.
as
Yeah,
shocking.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, of course
Yeah,
they're doing that.
you gotta
Especially in a mansion out there.
put your mind in the
in
pre-internet.
Yeah. Be
Yeah.
like, well, this is
Yeah.
shocking.
Satanic Panic. We just coming off that. In the
Yeah,
80s.
people
Yeah.
are kind of. He's kind of like exposing people to a world that
They
they
don't really
don't
think
even
about. Yeah,
think
couldn't
about
just-
or even know about.
Mm-hmm.
Can just Google it.
But since we've already kind of brought up the conspiracy, something that kind of made me laugh. It's kind of dumb. I was just like Googling the conspiracy right before, looking up the trivia and stuff, and somebody in the Reddit, they were kind of talking about, people were arguing back and forth whether it had any validity, and someone just commented, "There's nothing suspicious. The door's locked from the inside. The police are happy. End of story." Smack.
Yeah.
Which was
Sidney Pollack
Yeah.
right at the
When-
end of the
when
movie.
he was like talking to Tom Cruise
Yeah,
about Mandy or whatever. I was just like, wow, what a genius.
yeah.
Had to give him an upvote. But
Gotta
anyways,
upvote him sometimes.
Is it true that Stanley Kubrick had like a 200 IQ or something like that?
I never heard that about his IQ, but
he probably was a smart guy.
he was a smart guy,
like,
you know,
in
he
some
liked
sort of
chess.
measurable way.
I feel like he
Um,
laced these movies with a lot of symbolism. A lot
yeah,
of,
like it's kind of
inspiration.
the thing they always say is like he was just like super highly detailed, like everything in his movies
Means
he
something.
thought about, like
Which is-
nothing is a coincidence.
people it's just kind of confusing me because people talk about this movie like it's one of like, or at least I kind of thought they did, like it's one of his more confusing works or something. But to me, it's a pretty clear cut story. This guy learns that it's kind of funny because his wife
had a-
smokes some weed,
Yeah.
turns evil as hell, tells him she really wanted to fuck some guy.
Some guy
Kinda
like-
cucks him. She kinda cucks
Well,
him.
in that
She did,
moment,
a
well,
little
to be
bit.
fair, in that moment, yeah, I was like, wow, what a bitch, yeah.
Yeah.
But then she's essentially only telling him like, hey, I did think about fucking a guy in a pretty hardcore way one time. He's like, well, then I'm gonna go fuck into the biggest orgy I can fucking find
Yeah.
and obliterate as much as possible. So he kind of takes it to
And
the next
destroy
level.
our lives almost.
Yeah, exactly. But
pretty
I
much,
mean,
yeah.
ultimately, he just goes to like the wrong party, wrong time, and
Yeah.
has to deal with
Um,
consequences. Gets
When you
followed
looked
a little
up
bit.
those conspiracies, do you believe in the conspiracy about the ending with the daughter and the two guys in the back and all that, or nah?
I'm
In the
not
toy
even-
store.
I don't even know if
Oh,
I saw
where
that.
like where what do you mean? Like I assumed that he had a thing where he would just was casually actually selling out his daughter to them at that point.
Oh, you're
Something
talking
like that.
You,
Yeah.
you said the toy store. I thought you were talking about
the costume shop, yeah, is what you
Millage.
meant, yeah,
Millage.
because they're also at a toy store
She
at
had
the
a
end.
doll in her hand. I was assuming
Okay.
it was a toy store.
Yeah, there's a lot with this movie. Before we get too far,
all right.
I like this movie. I had seen it already.
Obviously,
Did you guys like it?
I did like
Yeah, I
it.
liked it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
a lot more than
glad to hear that.
Magnolia.
Okay. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's
Cinema.
so yeah, it's a cool movie. There was stuff I feel like with all Kubrick movies, there's stuff that you can kind of like get on the next viewing or
It's a
whatever.
lot of meat on the bone.
You know, like yeah, it's a lot of things that you can keep coming back to, and like
Yeah.
something with this one, like I sent you guys this clip earlier, kind of about the rear projection.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
like it's
see
not
it.
shot in New York, but like it's supposed to be New York. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like for me, I guess maybe like at this point, I kind of heard that Kubrick was kind of he
I
like lived
had
in
seen
Europe
that
and
where
like
he was like,
Yeah, I
instead
don't
of a
know if
real
he just-
cityscape. I forgot
he didn't
about that.
actually want to work in New York or whatever. But like for someone who's like so
I
detailed,
think he
for
didn't
him
fly
to-
or something, right?
I don't know exactly.
bullshit?
I should have looked into like why exactly, but anyways, like yeah, they like some of the times when he's walking down the street, a lot of those times like you know like how they would do rear projection in cars.
absolutely.
Yeah, they're doing like rear
Yeah.
projection of a city like right behind Tom Cruise. It's kind of crazy.
It looks crazy. Yeah.
I like
But
the way it
like
looks,
if you
though.
look kind of close, you can like tell sometimes.
it's not lining up. Well, one,
yeah.
it's a 2D image, and it's not going to perfectly like
Yeah.
pan with him every time.
But it looks really good, you know. If
I've
you're not,
always enjoyed the way it
if
looks.
you're not looking too
even,
close.
Yeah, but even what's good, you know, it's like even in like older movies or some newer movies where they go with like the stylized like car style of shooting still, where it's like a moving image behind them.
Yeah, I like
Sometimes
that.
that looks as good as as hell to me. I think it looks dope.
Old-timey.
Yeah.
But yeah, this actually saw some of the trivia with this was kind of crazy, but
Yeah, I actually have a weird piece of trivia too.
we got
Let's hear it.
Tom Cruise as Bill,
Mm-hmm.
Victor, what was his name? Victor Ziegler, that's our boy.
Ziegler,
Sidney Pollack, which
Sidney Pollack.
remember we were talking about the swimmer.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Pollack.
He had
I
a
was just
assistant
like,
with the
Ziegler.
directing of that,
Yeah.
second unit directing kind of.
exactly. And I actually saw a good interview. I had to like kind of refresh myself. I had seen it before. It's Sidney Pollack on Kubrick, and he's kind of talking about how Kubrick is known for doing all these takes and stuff. And he kind of says like,
Yes.
he didn't really do that with me because I just told him like, hey, I'm not an actor. It's only going to get so good.
Yeah.
But he was like, with Tom Cruise, I had to actually be in those takes, you know, like,
Yeah.
'cause, like,
Hanging
you know,
out.
when he's like, at that end scene or whatever, he's like explaining
He
everything.
had to sit around 4
So he's
times,
like-
a million takes.
Yeah, and he kind of he talked about this one quote that like kind of stuck with me, and I guess it was something that Kubrick had said to Matthew Modine on Full Metal Jacket, where like Matthew Modine was like, "Oh, after a take or whatever, he was like, I think that was good. It felt real," and Kubrick said to him apparently, "Real is good, but interesting is better."
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. That's kind of the same way I feel about those backgrounds.
And something that he said, like that Mr. Pollack was saying in this interview that I felt like that's so like on the head, like he hit it perfectly. He was like, Stanley Kubrick's movies aren't real; they're kind of surreal. Like he's
I
not
agree.
really like trying to do things as they're supposed to be. He's like, this is my world. You know what I mean? It's like, and there's a lot of things that he did in this movie that kind of made me think of other movies. One thing that I think he's a master of is just like picking an actor who can like steal a scene.
Yeah.
And like in this, one of the guys who did that for me was like the guy who kind of looked like Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
When he goes to the hotel.
Wait, that's Alan Cumming, actually.
Yeah,
That's
Alan
the
Cumming.
guy who played Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even.
You were just talking
I just-
about
he
the
does look like
the
Pee Wee
guy
Herman.
in the beginning of
Oh,
X-Men 2.
What?
That's him, bro.
I thought you meant the one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, no.
Like-
It's the guy who played Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler.
But yeah, that's
Nah,
crazy.
it's
But
fucking- yeah.
but the way he's kind of like flirting with him, he's like, two big gentlemen. He's like, he had this bruise, you know.
He's like, you're not a pig, are you? Or something like that.
Yeah.
You're not the 5-0,
You're not
are you?
5-0.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Bill? He's like, anything for you, Bill.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then another guy who steals the scene for me, like Milich, and just like the thing that I feel like Kubrick does so well is like someone can deliver like one line, and it's like you get the whole thing. Like for me, like in The Shining, when he's like, they had to be corrected, you know, in the restroom.
Yeah.
In this one, when he's in, like you were kind of talking about when he's in the costume shop, and he's like, and if the good doctor needs anything, anything. It needn't be a costume.
Yeah.
And he's like got his arm around his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my god,
bro, come on, like, and that made me think of Lolita, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Kubrick movie,
Definitely
like
a little
classic,
bit.
you know. Yeah, I really like this movie. There are things that I don't love about it. Like it's a long movie,
Yeah, for sure.
not as long as Magnolia, but
No,
it's
definitely
long.
not.
Not as long, but 20 minutes under Magnolia.
It does have some moments like where it kind of does, in my opinion, you feel the length or whatever, but
Yeah.
I like how it kind of feels like a horror movie, kind of, and like it's
bit.
very menacing. Like
Definitely like leading into the actual party itself. It starts to get a little slow building up to that, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, we're in this now, and then it kind of pulls back out of it.
and I think that's what it does really well. It does menacing well, like when he's being followed,
Yeah.
and like even when like the mask is in the bed, and
Yeah.
it also does sexy well. Like
For sure.
You-
for
you
sure.
gotta-
Very
like-
lusty movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
definitely
lot
that
of
final. I
red.
love that final line actually, where she's just like, we haven't done something.
I want to fuck.
Fuck. I'm gonna fuck. Yeah,
Lots of
cut the
red.
black. Actually, I got a little piece of trivia that kind of blew me away a little bit. Nick Nightingale, the piano dude,
player.
is Todd Field, who's a director. He's pretty famous nowadays. He did a movie called Tar.
Yeah.
That was pretty popular. But he did something else. He co-created Big League Chew, chewing gum.
wow,
In the little bag with the baseball player. It's like chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
The shredded shit. Yeah, he's not like credited officially. He didn't like go into the deal where that got them like the money and everything. But he was one of the main like creators of Big League Chew.
I see you, Nick.
Wow. I see
That's
you,
crazy, right? Todd Field,
You know, that's
Nick Nightingale, the blindfold piano
Yeah.
player.
wow.
Who's probably floating in a in a ditch
I
somewhere.
can't imagine. Yeah, he shouldn't have let that blindfold get a little loose that one
Yeah.
time. He said he kind of took a little look around.
Took a little
So-
peek-see.
I did get some
Sexy
stuff that
girls.
I thought was kind of interesting. The HIV positive scene's kind of crazy.
That was hilarious.
Oh,
yeah.
What's the girl name?
Domino.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know. I don't really
where
know how to say
exactly-
this, but
Oh, something that I kind of thought this time that I never kind of thought before was like, so when like Mandy passes out, and like Dr. Bill is kind of talking to her, like he's like, oh yeah, she did a speedball or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's kind of just like, you can't do that again or whatever. Like she's coming to or whatever, and she never really acknowledges that
Yeah.
she takes anything.
Mm-hmm.
But then it kind of cuts to like the next scene right after that is Nicole Kidman, which Alice, she's like kind of passing out in the European dude's arms,
The Hungarian.
and she's like, "Oh, I think I had too much champagne."
Yeah.
oh,
And like in that cut, I was just like,
Mm.
I think people were getting
"Is he
a little
trying to imply like people
casual
are getting drugged?"
casual roofies are getting kind
Yeah,
of passed around? Well,
I-
given that we know they're going to fucking fuck parties and where
Mhm.
Diddy-esque behavior is
Well, but I
certainly
mean,
going
like this
down.
is like the Christmas party.
I
you
know, but
what
still
yeah.
being run by Sidney Pollock, who's
Yeah,
definitely he
who-
says he's at
sure.
that thing. You know,
And then
he's deep in
I don't
it.
know if you saw anything, but like there's a really cool video that kind of like lays out that Sidney Pollock is red cloak.
I could see that. I mean, like you said, I
like
saw it
when
all.
he's like with the pool table and like kind of some of the like
Yeah.
the gestures and stuff. Like I'll have to find that video. I should have watched
and
it.
there's
before
nothing
this
there
one.
to say he isn't.
Yeah,
So
but yeah,
I would
like
say
the
he
party
isn't.
is cool. There's like a lot of the controversy has to do with like some of the like a lot of the stuff being cut.
I've heard that one of the things I read that was interesting that kind of wanted to look into more that was just that some stuff was just digital. Fuck. Cannot hear that, bro.
Yeah, we ran out of space, but we're back.
Hey guys.
All right.
Yeah, so
Talking
yeah,
about
I
eyes wide
shit.
shut.
I was kind of talking about like some of the stuff that's kind of different from the book that they changed. Like Ziegler, he's completely new.
Okay.
Victor, Sidney Pollock.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Didn't
In
have that
the-
kind of guy around yet.
In the book, the code word Fidelio,
Mhm.
that was Denmark,
Oh.
and that kind of ties into in the book the wife's dream. The
Mhm.
soldier is from Denmark,
Mm.
so it's kind of like a little double jab or something. And then also like the guy who kind of I guess helped with the script. Like it's kind of implied that he's Jewish in the book,
Okay.
and Kubrick didn't really want to make that part of it.
Mhm.
he specifically, they said in the Wikipedia, they wanted a Harrison Fordish goy, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if we got to the clips and before we got cut off. But anyways,
I
if
don't
we
know.
did,
Hit him again anyway.
I'm getting corrective oral surgery tomorrow. For my teeth.
A different movie.
She got her brains fucked out. Period.
Definitely hadn't heard that one
Definitely
yet.
didn't get to that
one. That's all that happened.
yeah.
Have you no sense of decency? Gentlemen, have you no sense of decency?
Yeah, that was just crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. My brothers are back there. In prime cut of meat, baby. You want to take a ride in this bus, Kelly, you stupid faggot?
Yeah, it's
Fucking roasted him on the way by.
I don't think Kubrick was worried about being PC.
No, he never seemingly has been.
This pot is making you aggressive.
Oh God, worst smoking scene in a movie.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I mean they're usually not too good, but it was
Especially around that time,
particularly
yeah.
bad, yeah.
Exaggerated a little bit.
Yeah, where the rainbow ends, and then the costume shop is named Rainbow. Notice that this time. You know those two girls in the beginning.
Somewhere over the
Question
rainbow.
before you get more trivia. So I got this from watching The Shining and a couple other Kubrick films. I seriously think every frame of this movie, there's like double entendres and shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
It's a Christmas movie.
Christmas movie.
Oh yeah.
It's a Christmas movie, but there's no like
perfect for
there's
the
no
family.
There's no Christian stuff anywhere.
Yeah, because it's also like, I mean,
It's
if
like
you
some
if you
pagan
buy into
shit.
that Christmas have a lot of like pagan
Pagan-y,
stuff,
yeah,
so
But even
imagery.
like
it's intentional.
behind the piano player, they had that like that 6-pointed star or whatever that shit was. Like that was like a
Yeah,
satanic
like
symbol.
he did research into like occultism and
yeah,
all that
classic
type of
like
stuff.
occult imagery.
Like he researched everything, you know, like when he decided he was gonna make a movie, like he went full into it, you know?
joins a cult if he's gonna
joins
make
a
a
cult.
movie,
Joins.
creates a cult.
And I was also thinking it had like some noir elements, and he did do this one movie, Killer's Kiss, early in his career. That's kind of a noir, and I remembered like, I think a big part of it was like this dude sees something in a window that he's not supposed to see, and I'm kind of like, oh, Tom Cruise sees some stuff that he's not
Yeah,
supposed to see,
yeah.
and has to pay the price.
Has to pay
Well,
the
they
pay the
told him not
ultimate
to talk
price.
about it. They told him not to talk about it.
Remove your clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The girl who redeems him, I guess in the book, they were all like dressed as monks and nuns in the party, and I guess that was they originally did that, like they filmed it, but they went with just like the way they did it.
Yeah.
So, like the girls kind of naked and
God bless him.
yeah, yeah, hot scene.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Seemed like a
Element of danger too.
some interesting stuff
I
going on
just
there.
like movies that go that far with it. You know?
yeah,
It's
are
like,
willing to just do it.
you know, it's like, and I mean, I'm sure there's more movies about cults than I'm thinking, but like, I feel like I always say like I feel like if there were, because I kind of do believe in stuff like this, like he actually portrayed it the way I feel like it would be.
Yeah,
You know, an Illuminati sex party.
some
where
sort of
they're-
The Master does that well too. I
yeah.
think.
They kind of had a
Yeah.
sort
Kind
of
of
like a
an
little more kind of a
allusion to
realistic kind of version of it, though. I suppose.
Oh, something that I kind of thought was interesting was like on the Wikipedia where Ziegler's explaining to Tom Cruise like it was all staged. I think one of the critics or somebody was just saying like that's kind of how he actually sees the world, is like the fact that she died. It's kind of inconsequential. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm so rich, and
It doesn't matter.
and they even kind of talked about how like one of the critics was saying that Bill Ziegler is like the worst version of himself that he like sees. You know what I mean? In the
Yeah.
same way of like in Lolita, there's Humbert and Claire Quilty. Like he's the more depraved version, or even like he named one other one where it's like, I think maybe The Shining, but it doesn't really make sense. But yeah, he was just like in Kubrick movies, there's always like the guy and then the worst version of the guy.
What he could be.
Yeah. Which I was like, oh, that's interesting. You know how I feel about
Eyes wide
Kubrick.
shut.
It kind of made me think of Mulholland Drive too, just in the way
Yeah.
that like, kind of like all of that hidden stuff of like how Mulholland is kind of talking about the industry, and like the Mulholland Drive is like, you know, the ascension to stardom or whatever,
Yeah,
and how
yeah.
you kind of have to like use sexuality. You know, like I feel like this is a little more direct, and like, yeah, there are these cults and they do affect society. Like when he's
Yeah.
like, if you knew who they were, I'm not going to tell you who they are, but if you knew, like, I was just like, that's so perfect. It's like, just imagine the most elite of the elite. Like, that's who's in here.
That's who's
Yeah,
in
for
here.
sure.
Getting it off.
That's who's got the money and the the
That's where the
resources.
1,000 bottles of baby oil are.
I mean, yeah, we know it's going on more than ever.
Yeah.
Really. So,
Thanks, Stanley.
yeah, he
Thanks,
knew.
Stanley. He probably went to a party or two.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Probably half of the people already knew about like Weinstein and shit.
Yeah.
Or Bill Cosby.
There's
had
a
been active
rumor-
for like 40 years.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that Epstein and Ghislaine are in this movie. They're like background characters or some shit.
Wow. I
telling
didn't
you,
know
bro.
that one.
There's so much conspiracies. It's just goofy.
Yeah.
It's goofy.
And
Alright.
did you ever see that Room 237?
Yeah, we saw it together.
Yeah.
I
like,
never watched. I
they
know about it,
reference
but
they reference this a lot because I guess in a lot of The Shining, like what the big conspiracy with that is that people think like Kubrick directed the moon landing and
oh yeah, I've heard about
yeah,
that.
so I mean, just because it's like he ended up making like such a culty conspiracy
Yeah.
type movie, it's like you kind of have to reference it.
I
But
love how they thought they needed to bring in Kubrick to get that footage.
that movie goes like to some weird
Yeah,
places.
that's why
but
I remember when it came out and how like in depth it was getting. To
but
like,
the part that I feel like kind of keeps it where it's like it's because like he is a meticulous guy and
Yeah.
like nothing is unintentional, so it's like you kind of have to at least listen to the theory, I guess. I don't know.
One or two of those theories was kooky as fuck.
Yeah, for sure. If you had to give it a score, Kurt, start with you.
I'll give it a good 88.
I'm not mad at
I
that.
think it's a fantastic movie. I really like the performances. It did remind me of Mulholland Drive. It reminded me of this other film we saw. I completely forgot the name of it. We just recently saw it. Like a guy had a whimsical adventure at night in the middle
After Hours.
of After Hours.
Yeah.
There you go.
New York. It's kind of like a darker
yeah,
After
yeah.
Hours,
Uh-huh.
and also like he's kind of
Whimsical.
inspired. He's trying to
Yeah.
get laid.
He's
you
trying
know
to
what
get
I mean?
laid.
It is definitely like
Yeah.
an inspired like journey out to get laid.
It's
Yeah,
like
I actually kind of was thinking, make me think about that too. Now that I remember, because I remember we talked about that guy had constantly had chicks like throwing themselves at him, and he was just fucking sucked. And like Tom Cruise is like,
And-
doesn't even have to try. Like
I don't know if you remember there was
that
an
chick's
episode
dad
where
just died or whatever, and she's fucking
I think maybe it was The Swimmer where I was like, is this psychosexual?
yeah.
And I was like, well, Eyes Wide Shut and
You said you like a lot of movies that people call psychosexual. or
Lolita.
something. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I said Blue is the warmest
I can
color,
see
but like
that, yeah.
Lolita gets,
yeah.
this,
Freaky.
I'm
Yeah.
not mad at
Definitely gets
88.
freaky.
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
88, a crispy 88. I will say before I saw this is the first time I saw this movie, but ever since it came out, since a kid, I've only seen like clips here and there, and I always thought like the whole movie was about the cult.
Kind of
and
did too. Yeah, that's all you ever
yeah.
see is the
I feel
It's
mask.
actually like a family movie
Yeah.
and about his betrayal of the trust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's much more to it than
Yeah,
that.
much more to it, a lot deeper than I thought it was. But yeah, 88.
I knew I liked it. I still like it. We know. I guess like this time I was kind of looking at it like with a little more critical eye. There's a really good Louis C. Clay sleek.
Clay.
Where he's kind of talking about it. He did a podcast where he's talking about movies. And
Yeah.
he talks about this one, 3 Kubrick movies, I want to say. Maybe Doctor Strangelove, and I know, what's the space? 2001.
2001, The Space Odyssey.
He talks about those 3, and I still haven't seen 2001, but
Okay, interesting.
yeah, like kind of what he says is like he kind of doesn't really like rate because it's like he's such a master or whatever, but yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but it's a unique movie. Like
Yeah.
there's not really something else that you can like say this is a better sex cult movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. You said 88. I'm really feeling that. Like Clockwork Orange. I would. It's a little higher.
Yeah.
I think this is a little better than The Shining. Like, not better, but like for me, like my taste. I'm gonna hit 88 with you. Why not?
Okay.
Oh, first time.
Okay. Y'all
First time
y'all
for
are hanging
anything.
out at 88 together, huh?
Yeah, we
2
hanging
8 side by
out.
side.
Double 8 theater.
Double
over here.
8.
All right.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's Mike's time.
Well, trying to think of what movies I've seen by Kubrick. I'm kind of use that and how I feel about those films sort of shape where I put this.
it's a good.
I definitely. That's all good.
Maybe The Shining.
Think about it.
I'm thinking. I already thought.
Put
I
some
know
s-
now.
Put some sweat on
I
the
know
nape of
now.
my neck.
I know now. So, I think there's like 3 movies by him I would definitely put above this. Maybe even 4. Like Strangelove. I like 2001 more.
Strangelove goes
Clockwork.
Mm.
Full Metal Jacket maybe.
Oh yes.
I don't know if Full Metal.
I enjoy it more than this, but it's
Okay.
probably pretty close though. But I'm gonna give it. I'm actually gonna tie it with Magnolia. I'm gonna give it what I believe was a revised score of 85. I'll put it down at 85, kind of for a similar reason as Magnolia as well. I just want to leave some room for some other movies. Still really enjoyed it. It's still a great film. It's still definitely Kubrick. You know, it looks great at all times. They're always in an incredible environment, whether it's just some uppity like apartment or something.
Have you seen Lolita?
I have not.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
No.
Peter Sellers.
I like
and that.
Strangelove, which I've
He's
seen with
great
him.
in that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. Tom Cruise is great, and it kind of makes me a little irritated how much I get why people, if they choose to not like him for a variety of reasons, it's whatever. But when someone's like, "Man, that guy can't fucking act. He sucks," I'm like, I don't know, man. He can fucking act.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Really?
I feel like people want to be that way just because
They
they don't
want
like
to.
him, and then
Yeah.
his output,
And he's
if you
also
look at
in
it,
some
isn't
big
always
movies that
yeah,
are,
where
like,
people are already like, nah, he only does like
Mission
this.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
But
True.
yeah, when you see stuff like that, you're like, damn. And I kind of wish he would do more stuff like this. I mean, I think you could turn it all around and go right back to this and be like, damn, you know.
And
kinda
even in this,
shocking.
it's like
Tropic.
he's not
It's
he's
got
not a normal
blow-
guy.
yeah,
Like he
blow
has
his mind.
star power and like sex appeal.
Yeah,
That's
for
like,
sure.
Like I was kind of saying, like it's almost kind of like the same guy, but like you know what I mean? Like people just kind of want to throw themselves at him in
He's
this.
very
you
much
know,
a superstar in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
like-
sure.
But yeah, I like it. It's good. Feel like we're all in the same ballpark.
Yeah, we got an
Which-
85,
which is
88,
nice.
88.
85,
Yeah.
80s. I mean, it's a good film.
A couple
man.
copycats of my original score.
I'm getting corrective oral surgery tomorrow for my teeth.
This
Donnie.
pot is making you aggressive.
Oh, God.
She got her brains fucked out. Period.
We like to celebrate Saints. Suck my big fat fucking sausage!
It's August right there.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.